Hello there, Internet. Mogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. And today we got some more reveals. I guess we're getting this from now until the actual release of the expansion. I would assume. Today we're going to see 4 more cards, and tomorrow we will see a champion associated with them. And we're going to talk about these Ionia cards that we got today, and there's quite a bit to say. A lot of support synergy, and some very interesting 3-drops and 4-drops. You'll see what I'm talking about. So first of all, let's talk about the Young Witch. Unfortunately, the quality ain't that great, and I just realized I'm kind of in the way. I think I'm gonna actually move my cam for this. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. So just give me a second. Professionalism. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here. Yeah, that's a good area to be in, I think. Ah, fuck it, I'll be here in the corner. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so like I was saying, let's talk about the Young Witch, an elusive unit. Yay! Another elusive! There we go. For Ionia. A 2-mana 1/1 with elusive that has the support ability as well of giving my support ally quick attack and +1 attack this round. So Young Witch is kind of like a pumped up, what was the name? A Legion Drummer, I believe. Yeah, the 2-drop from Noxus, who is a 2-mana 3/2 that gives quick attack with support. This Young Witch here is paying a total of 3 stats for the elusive keyword and for the ability to give +1 attack to the unit that she is supporting. Now, keep in mind, it may seem like too heavy of a price to pay, as we have a very, very frail and non-menacing body coming from a 2-drop right here. A 2-mana 1/1, you know, kind of like reminds you of Curse Keeper, right? But the key thing is, elusive is a very strong keyword to have with support, because that means that the odds of people blocking and killing Young Witch in combat are very unlikely, and therefore she is safe from being blocked from something bigger and taken down. Like, for example, that's one of the downsides to War Chef and Demacia decks. You really rely on challenger units to remove strong blockers that can take down War Chef in the combat phase, so that you can get more value out of War Chefs throughout the match. Young Witch having elusive makes it so that blocking her is rarely going to happen, so she's going to allow you to get potentially multiple attacks in which you get good value out of her support ability. The problem is she has 1 health, which makes her incredibly vulnerable to removal. Vile Feast, Make It Rain, any sort of ping will take her down. And she's very, very frail because of this. I mean, you could also make an argument of like, well, she has the same health as the Green Glade Duo, right? And that card sees quite a bit of play in elusive decks. Even though now elusive decks have kind of like migrated from Ionia towards Bilgewater with Freljord. And at the same time, that's a different kind of deck, because when you focus on an elusive strategy, even though you have a 1 health unit in Green Glade Duo, you're running a lot of Elixir of Irons, you're running Twin Disciplines potentially, more likely Fury of the North. You're running a lot of ways to protect the unit with temporary health buffs, right? And unless you're packing that with Young Witch, I don't think it's worth it to play her in a support-based deck, because she's just so frail. And unlike the 3-drop that we saw yesterday, the Mentor of the Gems, I believe is the name. I can actually check that real quick. You know, I am in the Twitter of. Wait, give me a second. Let's go back. I can't. I have quite a few things to say about this SWOLLE Squirrel. The Mentor of the Stones. Never mind. See, even though this thing has 1 health, it has a last breath effect that gives you pretty much like a lot of value, right? So it kind of like mitigates that weakness a little bit. But regarding you know, Young Witch right here, there's not really much of a payoff. So I don't know what to say about Young Witch. I really like her art. I like the fact that she's dragging. Like, at first it seems like she has like some sort of like twisted wand, but then when you up the picture, you see like she's just like pulling a frog with her by the tongue, which is kind of I don't know, it's kind of violent, but I dig the art style, and I like the concept, but I'm not sure how I feel about her, to be honest. Like, I don't know if she will be long in a support build. I don't know if Ionia will be the region to go with to begin with. And, you know, nothing more to say about Young Witch, really. It's not really a card that you're going to be seeing in elusive decks, per se. But the elusive keyword is really nice for a support unit, and that may mitigate the 1 health weakness and make her playable. We'll see. Regardless, let's go on to the 1-drop now. We have the Flower Child, another card that, you know, when you look at the actual card art on the card alone, it's pretty normal, but then when you you up it up, and now I have to move my webcam again. God damn it, dude. Keep it on one side, Riot. What are you doing? Okay, I'm going over here now. Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty normal here, but then when you look at the full art, you have like the most vicious looking flower I've ever seen in my life, like eating a stick and shit. And yeah, it's a 1-mana 1/2 that says when I'm supported, grant me +2 attack. This is pretty much like the support version of the Greenglade Caretaker. And Greenglade Caretaker is a card that can stack a lot. So the thing about Flower Child is, unlike Greenglade Caretaker, I can't pronounce it, Greenglade Caretaker, which, you know, gets +2 attack whenever you apply a barrier, it doesn't have to be on her. Because Flower Child has to be the one that is supported, it's harder to like really snowball this effect out of control like the Caretaker can, right? So it's more toned down, but it is still like a really solid 1-drop. If you're playing Ionia and you're playing a support deck, I don't see how you don't play this card, right? It's really strong. Like if you play this with, like, for example, just with a War Chef, right? Like right off the bat when you attack with this, you're granting her +2 attack, so she becomes a 4/3 attacking. You know, like she went from a 1/2 to a 4/3, and every time you attack, she's gonna get more and more attacks. That right? So I think she's gonna be really good in support decks. Like there's not much more you want out of a 1-drop, and I really like her for that. And there's not much more to say about it really, but really strong effect. The fact that she's granting that attack is really key. And yeah, pretty much a staple for Ionia-based support decks, in my opinion. Unless, you know, we see other cards take that place. But, you know, nothing more to say about that. We're going to move on to the Fuzzy Caretaker. I'm happy this time it's on the left again. Fuzzy Caretaker is a 4-mana 3/3. When I'm supported, give me +3 health this round. Support, give my supported ally +3 attack this round. I don't know how I feel about Fuzzy Caretaker. It's not granting. And we see a lot of things that are granting with support. A 4-mana 3/3 is very low statted. Like you want these sort of 4-drops to net you some sort of value upon entry, like Chronicler of Ruin, for example. But Fuzzy Caretaker needs to attack to actually provide you with, you know, good value. But if he is supported, he all of a sudden becomes a 3/6 attacking, right? Because he's getting +3 health that round, which makes him, like, this is a very neat ability for a support attacker because it makes it so that, you know, he kind of like makes up for the fact that he's going to be blocked, because that's one of the weaknesses of support units. You know, they have to attack to get that value, right? So they have to put themselves in combat, and you know, they have to be, you can run into some very big shit, right, at that point. So being able to, you know, work towards your resilience by granting yourself +3 health for that turn is really neat. It's kind of like a different way to give, like, it's a different type of elusive for a support unit, if that makes any sense. So the problem is, if Fuzzy Caretaker goes down and is immediately answered by some sort of like spell-based damage that just kills him, then you lose a lot of momentum, because you're paying 4 mana for a very small body that, if removed, will net you a significant tempo loss, all right? And that is one of the biggest things. And I'm not sure if the +3 attack with the support is all that great. It depends on what you're pairing it with, right? So I'm not particularly crazy about this one. I don't think Fuzzy Caretaker is that good, to be honest, but I could be wrong. Let's move on to, I believe, the lifesteal. Yeah, Tasty Faefolk is the 3-mana 4/2 who you know, is prone to cannibalism. I don't know if he ate his own arm or somebody ate it and he's wondering. He's probably wondering who did that. Yeah, I think that's what the art is trying to tell us. I like the chill Tasty Faefolk at the back, though. He's enjoying life. He's not really, you know, not really with anxiety or anything. He's just relaxing right there, and you know, has a happy face, and I dig that. I can respect that. Regardless, Tasty Faefolk is a 4-attack lifesteal. A very good unit to compare this with is the Dead Bloom Wanderer from Shadow Isles, who is a 3/2 with lifesteal that tosses you 3 upon entry. So for now we know that you're basically paying 1 attack for that toss effect, as we have a 4 attack lifesteal vanilla version of that. And what I mean by vanilla is that Tasty Faithful is more straightforward. It's just a 4/2 with a keyword, right? Lifesteal is a very powerful keyword though, and obviously when you're taking lifesteal into account, having a higher attack stat is more important than the health, because every point of attack that you have onto a lifesteal unit, you will be gaining back in health when you strike with it. So 4 attack for a 3-drop lifesteal is actually really good. And in the right deck, if you have a deck comprised of buffs and ways to, you know, provide resilience to your units, you know, health buffs specifically, Tasty Faithful can be a really neat 3-drop, especially if you're facing a lot of aggressive decks, right? In a tournament environment, I can also see this as a very nice tech against aggro decks, as 4 attack with lifesteal allows you to block into even fearsome units, and getting 4 health back out of a 4 attack that allows you to trade into a pretty big unit is actually really neat as well. Tasty Faithful is pretty damn good. It's not really, it's straightforward in what it does. It needs buffs, I think, to truly shine, but ultimately it can be used in control decks as well to give you a little bit of time. Like having a nice blocker at turn 3 that gets you 4 health back is just really, really nice for a slower tactic. And I think Tasty Faithful will definitely see some play. It's not going to break the game or anything, but I think there's going to be decks which can really benefit from this. And I want to see how this can mix with the likes of Tarek, for example, right? If you run Tarek and Tasty Faithful and you go for like any sort of like buff, you know, with like, I don't know, Twin Disciplines, for example, onto Tarek, and then this gains +3 attack as well, and tough, you know, it's pretty good. Like with any sort of cards that promote, you know, stat buffs, lifesteal can become one of the most powerful and game-changing keywords in the game, and I think Tasty Faithful is a pretty fine card because of that. But not much more to say about it. We're going to talk about the last one, the best art I have ever seen in Legends of Runeterra, hands down. I'm just going to say it, the SWOLLE Squirrel, who makes me, you know, just feel bad about not doing any sort of exercise whatsoever during this pandemic. But SWOLLE Squirrel has lifted weights. SWOLLE Squirrel has honestly, like a perfect body. Like, look at those shoulders. Look at that thin waistline, that V. You know, maybe I'm going too much into detail, but that is impressive. That is impressive, I must say. And SWOLLE Squirrel has a very neat ability. It's a 4-mana 3/4. I've stated before how 4 health on a 4-drop is really important. I would take a 4-mana 3/4 over a 4-mana 4/3 any day of the week, especially one that has the ability of the SWOLLE Squirrel, which says that as he strikes, after striking, by the way, keep that in mind, you double my power. So if you have any sort of support or any way to buff this SWOLLE Squirrel and get its attack, even if you're only giving it temporary attack, I assume this is the way it works. Even if you're like granting it, like for example, if you're combining SWOLLE Squirrel with something like the Fuzzy Caretaker, and you're giving it +3 attack that round, as it strikes with 6 attack, it's going to double its power to 12, and it's gonna keep that stat line. So even though you're taking that temporary buff, you can convert it into permanent with this ability, and that's really neat. It's just all about keeping SWOLLE Squirrel healthy, right? 4 health is neat, but it's not really that high, so you want to make sure that you can provide it health support with other means. It's a 4-drop, which means that it doesn't particularly play super well with Tarek, because you would like to be able to curve a unit into it, like a 3-drop or maybe like a 5-drop for a little bit more value. But SWOLLE Squirrel is interesting. I think it's a little bit slow. It's a hard card to evaluate because doubling your power, again, this card just completely relies on a specific deck that can either buff it, give it elusive, overwhelm, etc., etc. You need to add keywords onto this overwhelming power, right? Like, you need this guy to be able to do things besides just smacking, because otherwise you just get chump blocked to oblivion, right? Like every time your opponent will just throw a spiderling at it and just keep stalling it out. You need to be able to generate some sort of like, just give it something useful. Like I said, elusive or overwhelm is what comes to mind. If you give SWOLLE Squirrel one of those two, then it can start putting in the massive work. And having that said, I think it's going to be a pretty niche card. Going to belong in very specific buff-centered decks, like most of these cards will. And I don't really expect that much from SWOLLE Squirrel initially, though, again, I could be wrong. Nonetheless, what a majestic card, what a majestic art, and I love it. It's definitely gonna be the thumbnail for today, by the way. I have no doubt about that. So those are basically the cards. This, I've seen some of the comments, people hinting at this leading to a Zoe champion reveal, but I'm a little bit confused with that because Zoe is from Targon, right? And these cards are from Ionia. So whenever we see like a pack of followers that, you know, it's kind of like linked to a specific champion, that champion is from the same region that the followers are from, right? It makes sense. You know, when we got Rising Tides and we saw all those scout units and people were saying, oh, it's going to be Quinn. And it was indeed Quinn from Demacia. But Zoe is from Targon, right? Like, the map told me she's from Targon. So, if we get a champion reveal of Zoe tomorrow, will she be a Targon card or will she be an Ionia card? Does it make any sense for her to be Ionia? Because I don't know the lore. I can't really weigh on this. So, I'm kind of like, you know, out of the blue with that. But I'm going to ask you guys about that because I really don't know. If we should be expecting a Targon or an Ionia champion reveal tomorrow. I guess, you know, time will tell. We'll just have to see tomorrow. But nonetheless, out of all these cards, the one that stroked me as the most competitive, perhaps the Flower Child for the support archetype. It seems like a pretty reliable staple for that, initially at least. And honestly, the Tasty Fatefolk. I think Lifesteal is a very strong keyword, and having it paired with 4 attack means that there will be decks that play this card at a high competitive constructed level. So that's basically all I gotta say. Which cards are your favorite, and why is it the SWOLLE Squirrel? Because otherwise, your opinion is pretty irrelevant to me. And let me know in the comment section down below. And any cool like card combo ideas that you guys have, like what support deck are you guys thinking about building first? What regions do you think will benefit the most from support synergies? And all that good stuff. And I'm going to stop talking. Have a solid day. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a champion.